What's up guys, it's Ed from TechSource and welcome to Setup Wars episode 130 Potato Edition. Everyone's favorite episode of Setup Wars. As always, the person with the worst setup will receive $100 and I need you guys to vote using the straw poll link down below. Yeah, with that said, let the Potato Edition begin. As always guys, don't take anything I say in this video seriously because it is done purely for entertainment. The people who actually are on the show voluntarily submitted their setup just to be a part of the Potato Edition of Setup Wars. So yeah, with that said, let's start the show. Starting off the cringe fest, we got James and his gaming and editing setup featuring a beat up desk and 2 monitors. I do want to apologize ahead of time if the quality of the pictures are making your eyes bleed, but this is the worst setup edition of Setup Wars, so don't expect any great quality pictures. The first monitor is a 19-inch from BenQ, while the second and main monitor is a 24-inch from Samsung. I do want to remind you that James is only 16 years old, so this setup actually isn't that bad. He's rocking a keyboard and mouse combo from GameMax, and the custom PC powering this amazing setup has an overclocked FX 8350 and a Sapphire Nitro RX 460. What made me put his setup in this episode was because of his cleanliness. I always tell everyone, it doesn't matter how expensive or cheap your setup is, you could at least keep it organized and clean. I mean, there is so much crap in his drawer and I don't even want to get started with that cable management. What in God's name is going on over here? Couldn't you have at least picked up those CDs from the ground before taking pictures? I mean, I know it wouldn't have made a huge difference, but it's still something. The printer is looking dusty as hell and he's even got a cracked phone and a random Xbox controller just sitting on top of the desk. I also noticed that there are even more stuff on the side of his desk. I just feel like he tosses things in there that he doesn't use anymore. Kind of like a spare trash can. For audio, he's using the Turtle Beach Earforce Kylo headset, but he also has a Beats Pill Bluetooth speaker underneath his monitor. I mean, it's not the worst setup I've seen, but it's definitely one of the worst setups I've seen on the show. Thank you, James, for starting off the episode. Next up is Jeremiah with another bad setup, and he's coming all the way from Philippines to show off this setup that he uses for school, streaming videos, and gaming. It consists of a pre-made desk that he bought from a computer store and a Samsung monitor that has a huge row of dead pixels on the left side. The desk is so small that you barely have enough room for your mouse, so why would you put your laptop on it? I mean, if you wanted to show us that you own a laptop, you could have easily taken a picture of it on a different desk. Speaking of the laptop, it actually has better specs than his PC. It has the i5-6200U, 4 gigs of RAM, and the GeForce 940MX, compared to the Pentium E5300 CPU and a GeForce 730 with only 2 gigs of RAM. A few other things that Jeremiah has on his desk is the Nintendo 3DS, we also got the Xbox 360 controller, a USB hub, and his Coloud earphones, considering he has no other audio source. Cable management, as expected, is atrocious. I mean, if your drawer looks like this, then obviously your setup is gonna be worse. It just seems like you don't care about your setup enough to clean up the wires a bit. But anyways, good luck and thank you for entering. At number 3, we got Joel with a more presentable setup. So he's rocking 2 completely different monitors, but that's okay since they both seem to work just fine. However, what on earth is going on with your keyboard, dude? It looks like it hasn't seen an air duster in ages. I do have to give Joel some credit for at least cleaning up his cables. I mean, he even built his very own cable rack using a few sheets of paper. I mean, if this doesn't scream out budget, then I don't know what does. After today, I don't want to hear excuses that people don't have money to cable manage. I mean, if Joel can do this using a few sheets of paper and some tape, then you should be able to do it also. He doesn't have any speakers, so the only audio source he's got is the Ozone Rage headset that he keeps in his drawer when he's not using it. And the PC powering this setup is equipped with an i5-7500 and the MSI GTX 1050 Ti. For being only 12 years old, this is actually a pretty good setup. I mean, if a 12-year-old can keep his setup this clean, then what the hell is your excuse for sitting in a dump? I'm looking at you, James and Jeremiah, and probably the rest of the contestants on this episode. But anyways, thank you, Joel, for entering, and good luck. At number 4 is Lance, who lives in Florida, and this is the setup that he uses for homework, although it's not really a setup. What I found funny about this submission is that he labeled his desk as a granite countertop. I mean, he's not wrong, it is technically a granite countertop, but it's not really a desk. Anyways, he's rocking two laptops. The main computer is a 2012 13-inch MacBook Air, and the side computer is a Dell Latitude E5430. I'm not sure why he needs two laptops or if this setup is even real to begin with, but this is the submission. It's obvious he's an Apple fan, judging by the iPad, the iPhone, and even Apple skins on his Dell laptop. I feel like the setup looks very cluttered because of the way everything is so spread out, and even the cables are just hanging around in the back. Just out of curiosity, I want to see what your bedroom is like, and this goes for everyone that enters Worst Setup Edition from now on. I want to see actual pictures of your bedroom to see if there's a desk or if there's room for a desk, just so I can confirm the legitimacy of your setup. Either way, thank you Lance for entering, and good luck. Wrapping up the episode, we have Ludwig, which also happens to be my favorite setup from the episode, because this dude built a gaming PC with a monitor as a side panel. I'm not even joking, he's rocking an old Fujitsu 3x4 monitor, which isn't even 1080p, and he attached it to the side of his PC. I don't know if that's pre-built or custom built, but that is one hell of a modification. Maybe he saw my Snowblind PC review and wanted to build something like that for himself, but instead he came up with something like this. He even built a custom cooling solution for the GPU, if you guys notice the heatsink underneath the GPU, and also the front fan that's attached to the case using zip ties. I love the fact that he has a pretty nice collection of motherboards on his wall that actually looks pretty cool, and the fact that he's growing a tree in his house. Like, what is up with those leaves, dude? If Tarzan would have a setup, I think it would look something like this. But anyways, he's got a pretty basic mouse, keyboard, headset, and even microphone. The cables aren't really managed, but then again, this is the Worst Setup Edition. Either way, very impressed with the modifications you got there, Ludwig. Thank you, and good luck. So that wraps up this episode of Setup Wars. Make sure you guys vote using the straw poll link down below, because the person with the worst setup will take home $100 in cash, and they can use that money towards whatever the hell they want. I'll announce the winners on my Instagram and Twitter accounts on the weekend. Make sure you guys are following me there if you care enough. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.